You're so wise. But like a miniature Buddha covered in hair.
Write that down.
I'm not going to write it down.
You're supposed to be chronicling my wisdom.
I'm not going to chronicle your wisdom. You chronicle my wisdom.
Your wisdom is stupid.
Dylan Farrow has released an open letter in the New York Times where she is calling Woody Allen out for what he allegedly did to her. So I want to read you part of what she wrote, and then you guys can judge for yourself what you think about it. She says, "What's your favorite Woody Allen movie? Before you answer, you should know, when I was 7 years old, Woody Allen took me by the hand and led me into a dim, closet-like attic on the second floor of our house. He told me to lay on my stomach and play with my brother's electric train set. Then he sexually assaulted me. He talked to me while he did it, whispering that I was a good girl, that this was our secret, promising we'd go to Paris and I'd be a star in his movies. I remember staring at that toy train, focusing on it as it traveled in its circle around the attic. To this day, I find it difficult to look at toy trains."
A total non-event.
It may be a non-event to Woody Allen, but not to Mia Farrow and not to authorities in Connecticut, who are required by law to investigate every reported incident of alleged child abuse.
It's incredible. If I wanted to be a child molester, I had many opportunities in the past. I could have quietly made a custody settlement with Mia in some way and done it in the future. I mean, you know, it's so insane.
Allen is cooperating with the investigation. He's made his own psychiatric files and the files of his children available to authorities. He's submitted to a polygraph and a battery of psychological tests. The reports we were shown would seem to support his contention he's not a child molester. Why then would Allen's 7-year-old daughter tell a Connecticut doctor otherwise?
Either she has been coached methodically to tell the story because...
By Mia.
By Mia, yeah. Because first of all, several weeks before it happened, Mia called me on the phone and said, in the course of an argumentative phone call, she said, "I have something very nasty planned for you." And I said, "What are you going to do, shoot me?"
When did this happen?
This happened several weeks or a month before the allegations.
This was last summer.
Yes, this was a month before this happened. And on many, many occasions, over the phone and in person, Mia had said to me, "You took my daughter, and I'm going to take yours."
What did she mean by that?
She meant by it that I had formed a relationship with her 21-year-old daughter, and she was going to get my daughter, who's Dylan, I only have one daughter. That's what she meant. She was going to seek
her away.
Her revenge that way, yes.
Because of your affair with Sun-Yi?
Yes, yes, absolutely. You took my daughter, I'm going to take your daughter.
Allen contends that from the moment Mia Farrow discovered the nude pictures he'd taken of Sun-Yi, she considered him morally guilty of child molesting, even though Sun-Yi was legally an adult. A month before the alleged incident with Dylan, Allen says he found this note on a door while he was at Farrow's house for Dylan's birthday. It reads, "Child molester at birthday party. Molded then abused one sister, now focused on youngest sister. Family disgusted."
Mia wrote that note. That's her handwriting.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
We were under the assumption that Mia Farrow never reported the sexual abuse that happened. However, when she was in a bitter custody battle with Woody Allen, she brought up the fact that Dylan had said that she was sexually assaulted. Now, during that time, there was a doctor that was appointed by police to investigate these claims, and the doctor, his name is John Leventhal, interviewed her 9 separate times. And according to him, every single time she changed her story. Now remember, she was a 7-year-old. The doctor concluded that either Mia Farrow put her up to it, or the girl was so emotionally disturbed by what was happening in the household that she just couldn't get the facts straight and didn't really know what was going on. Anyway, basically it turned out that under this independent investigation, they could not conclude that she had been molested. There have been a number of other reports in the press that have been extremely irresponsible, namely the commentary from from Mika Brzezinski and also Barbara Walters. So I want to show you guys both those videos. Let's go ahead and start off with Barbara Walters on The View.
Woody Allen's daughter, Dylan, wrote a scathing article detailing her claims of sexual abuse by her dad when she was just 7 years old. And Dylan calls out Hollywood actors, writing, quote, "What if it had been your child, Kate Blanchett, Louis C.K., Alec Baldwin? What if it had been you, Emma Stone, or you, Scarlett Johansson? You knew me when I was a little girl, Diane Keaton. Have you forgotten me?"
Ooh. Wow.
Okay, let me just say a couple. First of all, the statute of limitations, by the way, if you say, well, shouldn't they press charges and so forth. Let me just read you officially what his lawyer said, and then let me tell you my own experience. His lawyer said it's tragic that after 20 years, a story engineered by a vengeful lover resurfaces after it was fully vetted and rejected by independent authorities. The one to blame for Dylan's distress is neither Dylan nor Woody. They're pointing a finger at Mia. So I know Mia. I have a good relationship with her. But I've been with Woody many times with his two daughters. He's got almost a 20-year-old marriage to Sun Yi, which started as a sensation. It's a solid marriage. He has two children, two girls. Bashay is 14, Manzi is 13. I have rarely seen a father as sensitive and as loving and as caring as Woody is and Sun Yi to these two girls. I don't know about Dylan. I can only tell you what I have seen now, that it's a good marriage and that he is a loving, caring father.
Barbara,
I think that has to be said.
Look, it's possible that he's a great loving parent in your experience to those kids, and he might have still done it, right?
Yeah.
Those are not mutually exclusive. And just because someone might have done something before doesn't mean that they're a monster, that every turn they're going to knife somebody while you're not looking, or that they can't be perfectly lovely in the presence of Barbara Walters.
Yeah, and I want to make a point about that, because I think that, you know, if you know someone personally, you just assume that they're a good person based on your experiences with them. You don't know who they really are in their private lives. And that's not to say that Woody Allen is a terrible person in his private life. I'm just saying that it's unfair for Barbara Walters to draw a conclusion about him just based on the interactions that she's had with him. So she's talking about his great marriage and everything, and I'm sure he probably does have a great marriage. It seems solid, even though it started under questionable circumstances. But, you know, you can't say, like, no, there's no way this happened because he seems like a good guy to me.
Right. And to be fair, she did say there that she didn't know what happened with Dylan, right? Mm-hmm. And then later they had a conversation on The View where they said, I think it was Sherry Shepard said, look, he had naked pictures of Sun Yi when she was 17. And that was the adopted daughter of Mia Farrow, who he was dating at the time. It wasn't his adopted daughter, but he's dating her, and he dated her for, I think, about 12 years, right? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Sun Yi is her adopted daughter, and he's got naked pictures, and that's how Mia Farrow found out. Yeah. And Barbara Walters says, look, 17 isn't 7. Okay, that's true, right? But it ain't great either, right? Like, it's especially not great when she's the daughter of the person you've been dating 12 years.
Yeah. Now, Mika Brzezinski also commented on this during Morning Joe, and she is already assuming guilt. Take a look.
But then let's just not pretend that there's an issue here. There's a big problem with this guy.
When we look at sexual abuse and is willing to share this with all of us.
Does anybody here not believe her?
I believe her.
I believe her.
Later on, she said that she will boycott Woody Allen movies. She doesn't want to see another Woody Allen movie.
No, Woody Allen's wife actually used to be his stepdaughter, which makes for a really interesting Father's Day. Woody's son with Mia Farrow, Ronan, stopped speaking to his father back in 1992 when it was discovered that Woody had been dating Sun Yi, Mia's adopted daughter, who was just 10 years old when Woody got with Mia. It's been a while, but Ronan wants to remind everyone, and yesterday he put his dad on blast by tweeting, "Happy Father's Day," or as they call it in my family, Happy Brother-in-Law's Day. Mia Farrow added salt to the wound and retweeted the message, adding the word boom in all caps.
You remember Woody Allen going out with Mia Farrow for a long, long time.
Married to Mia Farrow.
Right.
Yeah.
And Mia Farrow adopts Sun Yi, and unofficially, Woody Allen becomes her dad when she's 10 years old. When she's 21 and he's 56, the pervy wanker starts having an affair with her.
This is my perspective, and has always been my perspective on life. I have a very grim, pessimistic view of it. I always have since I was a little boy. It hasn't gotten worse with age or anything. I do feel that it's a grim, painful, nightmarish, meaningless experience, and that the only way that you can be happy is if you tell yourself some lies and deceive yourself. And I'm not the first person to say this or the most articulate person on it. It was said by Nietzsche, it was said by Freud, it was said by Eugene O'Neill. One must have one's delusions to live. If you look at life too honestly and clearly, life does become unbearable because it's a pretty grim enterprise, you will admit. Look, be logical about this.
Ah, that is incredibly jejune.
That's jejune?
Jejune.
You have the temerity to say that I'm talking to you out of jejunosity? Sonia, what if there is no God?
Boris Dmitrievich, are you joking?
What if we're just a bunch of absurd people who are running around with no rhyme or reason?
But if there is no God, well, then life has no meaning. Why go on living? Why not just commit suicide?
Well, let's not get hysterical. I could be wrong. I'd hate to blow my brains out and then read in the papers they found something.
Boris, let me show you how absurd your position is. All right, let's say that there is no God and each man is free to do exactly as he chooses. Well, what prevents you from murdering somebody?
Well, murder's immoral.
Immorality is subjective.
Yes, but subjectivity is objective.
Not in any rational scheme of perception.
Perception is irrational. It implies immanence.
But judgment of any system or a priori relation of phenomena exists in any rational or metaphysical or at least epistemological contradiction to an abstracted empirical concept such as being or to be or to occur in the thing itself or of the thing itself.
Yeah, I've said that many times.
Boris, we must believe in God.
If I could just see a miracle, just one miracle, if I could see a burning bush or the seas part or my Uncle Sasha pick up a check, and I'm just a worm, an insect, some kind of crawling, disgusting, creeping little vermin, you know you can stop me.
I will when I disagree.
Look, the soft golden dusk is already transmogrifying itself into the blue star-sprinkled night.
Careful, because that gun may be loaded.
Oh.
Well, that was weird. With 3 exclamation points.
Lead us not into temptation. May his soul find the salvation of thy great eternal